on Great Neck, the end of April, there were a lot of these really substantial brick homes that had the roofs ripped off. And so you can imagine if folks had been on the second floor, they would have been carried away by an EF3 tornado. I mean, there were some very, very strong winds with that. And so everybody did what they were supposed to, and everybody survived. In fact, no even reports of any serious injuries, which was great there. We're hoping for the same outcome here. In fact, we're hoping that there's not actually a tornado with this, but we certainly cannot rule it out. This is what we call radar indicated, meaning that the folks at the National Weather Service are seeing something in this storm, like we are, that indicates that there could be a tornado forming. We saw some really intense winds around the Smithfield area, making its way toward Carrollton, probably over you right now. You are almost under the gun around Founders Point. That arrives, the strongest of the storm arrives in about 2 minutes. Possible tornado, 6 minutes for Eclipse. Heading toward the Monitor Merrimack in about 16 minutes. Edgefield, Glenwood Park, over 19 to 28 minutes. This is going to be moving in your direction as well. And so now is the time to act. You want to go to that site-built structure. I mean, if you want to go to the lowest floor of your home, but if you do live in a mobile home, you want to go to a site-built structure nearby. You want to shelter in a small interior room if you have a site-built home, and you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. As just kind of showing you a diagram of the house. We'll kind of remove the roof from this house to kind of show you from the top. That's an interior room. It doesn't have any walls that are shared with the outside. If it has a window, that is not a safe place to be. That's not an interior room. In fact, windows are really important to stay away from, because one of the concerns with strong winds, with tornadoes, is trees or even just branches that break through those windows, and then you've got flying glass heading in your direction. So stay away from the windows if at all possible. So you get away from the windows and take shelter in a small interior room. As this tornado warning, oh, now we have a confirmed tornado. That purple box, this now stretches over into this tornado warning that we have now stretches over into Norfolk. It stretches over into Portsmouth, I believe northern Chesapeake as well. That purple box now tells us that this is a confirmed tornado. The National Weather Service has either confirmed it, been an observed tornado, so somebody has actually seen the tornado on the ground, or they're seeing the tornado debris telling them that there absolutely is a tornado here. And so we've got this tornado warning that has been extended to the south side of Hampton Road. So the storm producing this tornado, a possible tornado or actual tornado, is still over Isle of Wight County, but it is going to be crossing over the mouth of the Nansemond River, the Hampton Roads Harbor there, the mouth of the James River, and then making its way into northern portions of Chesapeake, northern portions of Portsmouth, around Craney Island and Churchland, and then making its way into Norfolk as well. So again, a confirmed tornado now, and this is in effect now until the 5:30 time period. So we're getting information in here. You see that little icon that shows a tornado. Let me click on that and get more information for us here about what's happening with that. Let's see, let me query this. So there we go. We have reports of a rain-wrapped tornado in Carrollton right now. So 4:55. So that was reported about 3 minutes ago. So once again, folks in Carrollton, you have a tornado on the ground right now in your area, and it continues to make its way off to the east and the southeast. You need to take shelter right now. Do all of those things we talked about. Go to the lowest floor of your home. Take shelter in a small interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And if you live in a mobile home, you need to move on foot to a site-built structure nearby. So once again, at 4:55, the National Weather Service received a public report of a rain-wrapped tornado in Carrollton. They're also likely to issue this. We're seeing the same thing on first warning radar, or on their radars. We are seeing on first warning radar. Yeah, there you go, where as we take a look at our velocity data. Basically, this tells us the intensity of the winds, but also tells us the directions of the winds. So you see the areas there in red. That is the winds moving away from the radar site. This is a little explainer for you. The green is winds moving toward the radar site. And when you see those in close or that are close to each other like that, it tells us that we've got rotation, and in this case, it's rotation on the ground. It is a tornado on the ground right now around Carrollton, very close to Founders Point as well, right along Highway 17, and it's making its way off to the east and the southeast right now. Let me query that bright pink there to kind of give us an idea of just how strong the winds are with this. And I believe they are likely quite strong. Obviously, if we've got a tornado on the ground, we're talking about some strong winds. Now, this isn't, I likely picked the wrong spot to query there, but when we're seeing those bright pinks like we're seeing right there, that tells us that this is a very strong storm that is likely producing, or that is producing a tornado as it makes its way through Isle of Wight County right now.
That's right. And you know, Patrick, something that's super important that I think you mentioned is that this is a rain-wrapped tornado, and this is going to really make visibility really, really difficult for people if they're out there. And we're actually going to see if we can take a quick second, because this is what the James River Bridge looks like, right,
wow.
Jessica? So, I mean, you can't see anything. It's just completely gray out there. I don't think anybody would be able to see if they're in their cars right now trying to get anywhere. So we see one vehicle right now just coming down. You can barely see those.
That is a nightmare
lines.
there to be that vehicle, I tell you what.
It is incredibly dangerous. As Patrick has said, a confirmed tornado in the Carrollton area right now. And this system, as he said, is moving east, southeast, and you can see the areas on the screen. And Patrick, you said this was extended into the south side of Hampton Roads, into the Norfolk Portsmouth areas. So we're seeing what's happening now with this tornado confirmed, and it's moving towards the east direction. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's see, I'm marking some of the communities. So I want to make sure you have as much time as possible. So right now you don't have a whole lot of time around Bennett's Creek as we look over into northern Suffolk here around the campus of TCC. This is making its way in your direction. It's going to cross over the mouth of the Nansemond River there, the mouth of the James River, and continue to make its way off to the east-southeast. Churchland, you've already had one severe storm move through there that knocked down trees and power lines. This is a storm producing a tornado that is moving in your direction. Craney Island. So we don't have folks who live on Craney Island, but I mark that. So if you're in a community anywhere close to Craney Island, you know that we're seeing a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings pop up there on the lower peninsula. I'm not focusing a lot on those. I'm not ignoring you, but obviously the most immediate concern right now is this confirmed tornado, this observed tornado, likely on the ground right now, that's making its way to areas within this box. Now, Naval Station Norfolk in that box. It's going to be a little while until it arrives in that community, but you can see in Norfolk, Meadowbrook, as we get down toward areas around Larchmont and Edgewater, the campus of Old Dominion University, Lambert's Point within this as well, the West Ghent, Chelsea communities, also Ghent itself, Colonial Place. All of those highly populated areas in Norfolk are within this tornado warning, a confirmed observed tornado on the ground that's making its way in that direction. Can't do this enough. While I toss over to you ladies, I'm going to put the tracker on here so we can see again some of the times of arrival for this.
And Patrick, something important that you mentioned as it's continuing heading south-southeast into, Ghent, the ODU campus, West Ghent, Norfolk. It is Friday evening and people might be trying to get out and go to dinner or trying to get out to those shops. So, those windows, since they're so big, could be very dangerous to be in front of or near of with these high winds that are around in that area.
Yeah, and so we're talking, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, we're right in the heart of rush hour with a possible or a likely tornado, an observed tornado that's making its way through some highly populated areas. We know that northern Suffolk is growing very, very quickly. That portion of Isle of Wight County we talked about growing very, very quickly. Lots of folks would typically be on the roads right now. Not a safe place to be. I know you're not listening to us if you are one of those people on the roads, but if you have a loved one headed home, pick up the phone, give them a call, tell them about this, and if they are anywhere within this area, they need to pull over and take shelter in a building. If there's a business nearby, take shelter there. Cars are not a safe place to be when there is a tornado on the ground because they're meant to move and they do move and they get flipped over and you don't want to be inside that.
And those winds are intense out there, Jess.
Very intense. As Patrick, as you've been saying that, I've been texting my family who is within this area to say, get to the bottom floor, get to a bathroom, get to somewhere now. And you talked about like in the near the James River Bridge, because we know that confirmed tornado has been in Carrollton. Let's take a quick view of what we're seeing around the JRB. That camera was just whipping in the wind just a moment ago, and you see the cars on the roads. My goodness, I hope folks are being careful and getting to a place that is safe now as we are seeing this system move east and southeast. Patrick, give us an update again on how long this warning is lasting and what we know about the confirmed tornado so far.
The confirmed tornado warning is in effect until 5:30, so we've got, what, about another 26 minutes or so. So with that, this storm is just about to make its way toward the Monitor Merrimack. So we can ask our producers if they want to pull up a traffic camera at the M&M with a good wide shot. That would be a good one because the storm is making its way in that direction. We're hearing lots of
going off.
Yeah, lots more alarms now. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. So basically, it's on top of, it's overlaying the tornado warning that we have in effect. Let me clear off the screen here. A lot of mess going on. I have a friend who's a meteorologist who says to viewers a lot of times it just looks like a bucket of spilt milk or spilt paint, and so it's our job to make sense of it. So we widen it out, and the kind of fuchsia box you see there, that's our tornado warning. That's the observed tornado that's on the ground right now. The wider yellow box, that is our severe thunderstorm warning. So basically that's over top of that. So even if that tornado dissipates or pulls back up into the clouds, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for most of the south side of Hampton Roads. So this does include our friends in Virginia Beach, in Norfolk, in Portsmouth, in Chesapeake, in Suffolk, under that severe thunderstorm warning. And you see there are others right over top of this storm as well that includes the lower peninsula as well. So we're not ignoring you, but obviously the observed tornado on the ground right now is our number one concern as the storm continues to make its way off to the east-southeast at around 30 miles per hour. That has been how fast most of these storms have been moving this afternoon.
So Patrick, I know earlier you mentioned that the winds were about 60 miles per hour. Has it slowed down to 30 miles per hour? Because when you kind of zoomed out, it looks like the path that tornado is on could be heading over to our friends in Virginia Beach who are still, as you mentioned, trying to get through, the recovery efforts from that EF tornado, tornado that hit us.
And that part of Virginia Beach is included in this severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning at this point, but the tornado warning is inside this severe thunderstorm warn box, if that makes any sense. So what the National Weather Service is doing is saying, okay, we don't expect that it likely will not hold together, but this storm itself will continue to make its way across the south side of Hampton Road. So we want to give folks a really early heads up that a strong storm that's already produced a tornado is moving in your direction. I have the tracker up so you can see some of the communities that are going to be affected. So Harborview, Suffolk, again, a very fast growing area, lots of new communities there. This storm that's producing a tornado will arrive in about 5 minutes, now down to 4 minutes. Churchland in about 8 minutes. And so our friends in Portsmouth, in the Churchland section of Portsmouth, you've got about 8 minutes to get to your safe place. Kingman in about 11 minutes. Moving into Norfolk, so that's downtown Norfolk in about 20 minutes. So time to move to your safe place. All of those areas that we've talked about. Ballantyne Place in Norfolk, you've got about 23 minutes. We get folks that are tuning in all the time. Now, we get a lot of questions when we are in this extended coverage. Why do you keep repeating yourself? Well, think about it. When we get these warnings, people tune in, or they hear the lightning, or they hear the thunder in the distance, and they tune in. So we get new people tuning in all the time, and they need this information. It is critical. We hear from folks all the time that they heard where to go, they did it, and they survived the storm. So folks, this stuff works. You want to go to the lowest floor of your home. If you have a basement, that is the best place to be. You want to shelter in a small interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And if you live in a mobile home, you want to leave the mobile home. You want to go on foot to a site-built structure nearby. We hope you already have a plan in place for where you're going to go. The reason we talked about the interior room on the lowest floor of your home, because of course a roof can get ripped right off. In this case, we're showing, taking off the roof there to show folks where the best to go. and that is the ground floor bathroom in this case. A bathroom, as long as it's on the lowest floor of your home and interior, away from the outside of the home, that's a great place to be. A bathtub is a great place to get into because the framing is solid to support the weight of the tub. You think about a tub, even without water, is very heavy. You add water, and so the framing has to be extra solid to support that. Oftentimes, bathtubs are anchored to the floor. That provides a little bit more protection. And on top of that, there is plumbing in the walls because it's a bathroom, and that can act as a little bit of a cage and offer you more protection as well. And so if you have a bathroom on the lowest floor of your home and it's interior, away from the outside of the house, that means your bathroom does not have a window. If it has a window, don't go to the bathroom. You want to go to an interior room, and that's where you need to take shelter. That is the best place to be as the storm producing a tornado continues to make its way off to the east-southeast right now, likely right over the Monitor Merrimack and the moving away from the James River Bridge as we speak, and is making its way into northern portions of Suffolk and Portsmouth, and then eventually will be crossing over the Elizabeth River and making its way into Norfolk here fairly shortly.
Patrick, you talked about the M&M. That's where you're saying we see it over the M&M right now. Let's take a look. This is a view. Oh my goodness. So many folks on the roads. It is 5 o'clock. People are headed home. Our team has been giving you the first warning on this, and there are folks stuck in traffic as we're seeing this system hovering over top of the M&M. Patrick, in terms of the indicated tornado confirmed by a sighting, do we know, is that still churning at this point?
Now I'm looking at this is the velocity. Basically it shows us the winds and which way they're moving. We're seeing less of a signature of the twisting of the winds at the surface, which is good news. I'm not telling you it is not there, but oftentimes we get a tornado touchdown. It will be on the ground for a little while and then go back up into the storm, and in which case it could drop down again at any moment. So we're not letting our guard down, and of course the warning is still in effect. It looks like the strongest winds are actually away from where we had that indicated possible tornado, and are basically over right near the east end of Newport News. You can see right between the Monitor Merrimack and the HRBT. And so we're seeing indications of 60+ mile-per-hour winds between the Monitor Merrimack and the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. Ooh, would not want to be driving over either one right now. And I think it's probably a good idea if you do have loved ones headed home and that's their route, to give them a call and give them a heads up about this.
Absolutely, Patrick. I wanted to see if we could pull up this other view of the Monitor Merrimack Bridge that we see. And if you guys look in between the bridge and the traffic and look at that water and how it's just sloshing up, look at those waves. Incredible that are being produced by the winds out there. And, you know, we're seeing a good amount of cars still just driving by. They've got their headlights on. As Patrick said, if you do have someone on the roads right now trying to make it home, it wouldn't hurt to just give them a call. If they don't answer, try them again. Let them know that they need to drive slowly. They need to drive carefully. The roads are very wet. The winds are very high. And man, I mean, just look at that. Look at that camera and look at these cars. There's a bunch of people still on the road trying to get home. You know, it is Friday evening, as Patrick mentioned. Traffic, we're trying to get home. We're worried about this weather. So give them a call. Give your loved ones a call. Make sure that they know that what they're driving into is heading further and further east and southeast into our area.
And that, I mean, seeing so many cars on the road, it does make me nervous. So if you do not, just don't leave. If you are watching us on the News 3 app, if you're streaming us online, if you're watching us on WTKR, this is your warning. Do not leave the safety of where you are right now. As Patrick has said, go to the lowest floor of the building that you're in. Get in a bathroom in an area that is insulated. If you have something that you can put on your head to protect yourself, that couldn't hurt as well. But again, the safest place to be is in a stable structure on the bottom floor, preferably in a bathroom in a room that is insulated away from windows.
And I think that's great advice too, even for folks who are not technically within this tornado warning area, because we are seeing some storms producing winds that could be as strong as low-end tornadoes right now. As a matter of fact, that pink area we showed you there, I kind of have this on a loop so you can see where it's been moving. It's been moving over Newport News, around the east end, portions of Hampton. Now the strongest is right over the Hampton Roads Harbor, but beginning to push into Naval Station Norfolk as well. I want to to highlight some of the communities here so we can talk about who is going to be under the gun for this strong storm. Not necessarily tornado with this, but very, very strong winds that could be just as strong, if not stronger, than some tornadoes. So you can see some of the communities that we're talking about. The Willoughby area of Norfolk, the Willoughby Spit. Right now it's moving over the HRBT. Of course, that is Naval Station Norfolk right there. As we head a little bit farther south, we get to the Norfolk International Terminals. Then there's the Lock Haven neighborhood, some beautiful old homes there, just a lovely community. Meadowbrook, Larchmont, Edgewater. Then we get toward the campus of Old Dominion University as well. There's Colonial Place, all areas that are going to be under the gun with this storm producing winds likely in excess of 60 miles per hour. I would say probably closer to 70 plus miles per hour. So we can, I'm almost certainly expecting down trees, down power lines with this as it makes its way into the south side of Hampton Roads from Hampton and Newport News right now. There's Cottage Park, Larry Moore Lawns. I want to mark as many of these communities as I can. As a matter of fact, let's put the tracker on that. We've been focusing, obviously, for obvious reasons, on the storm producing a tornado, but I likely think that that is gone, and it's the strong winds that we're most concerned about right now from this line as it makes its way off to the east-southeast right now. So there you go. Let me hit now. And that's the strong part of the storm that we're most concerned about. And I'll widen out the view here a little bit so again, so we can see some of the communities on the south side. So there's the big concern right now. So we've shifted from that likely tornado. As a matter of fact, let me move this out of the way for just a second. And it does look like the National Weather Service has canceled that tornado warning, and it's now been replaced by that severe thunderstorm warning. So good news, bad news. Good news is that they believe that observed tornado has dissipated. The bad news is that this storm producing these strong winds can be just as strong as a tornado. And it is making its way off to the east-south. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit to around 35 miles per hour to check out some of the communities that are going to be affected as this line makes its way across the south side of Hampton Road. So right now, basically, it's over Norfolk. It's moving into downtown Norfolk around Little Creek in about 6 minutes. So around the Joint Expeditionary Base, Little Creek, toward Town Center in Virginia Beach in about 13 minutes. Very popular place on a Friday evening. Lots of folks at Town Center. They need to take shelter. Green Run in Virginia Beach in about 20 minutes. If the storm holds together, we hope it doesn't, but we can't hope. We have to take action. And then where it says Virginia Beach in about 26 minutes, that's actually Naval Station Norfolk. And so as it gets toward Naval Station Norfolk in about 26 minutes, and then eventually makes its way toward the coast. So what we have here is a storm that had a history of producing a tornado. That tornado warning has been canceled, but now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for a very strong storm that's making its way toward the south side of Hampton Roads. You see it right there, also producing lots of lightning, producing hail. There are a lot of moving parts with this system as well.
All right, Patrick, giving us the first warning again. Earlier this afternoon, a confirmed tornado we saw in Carrollton was moving in the east direction. We know that tornado warning, as Patrick reported, has been canceled, but that severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect and moving to the east.
That's right, Jessica, and we're going to keep an eye on this. And Patrick is right here, just feet away from us. And, you know, if you do have those people on the road, make sure that you call them. Don't try to get on the road. Don't try to get out and drive. It's very unsafe right now. So we do want to thank you for sticking with us throughout this severe weather.
We'll be right back after this on the special edition of News 3.